guys, welcome back to your Monday Morning Jumpstart. We have a first-time jumper today, Katie
Yes.
Yeakle. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Jade. How are you? I'm honored to be part of the Jump Club.
It's going to be the new name. We're going to rebrand and rename this. If you're not familiar, Katie is one of the co-founders and executive directors at AWAI. So I feel like, Katie, everybody knows you, but if they don't, that's who you are. Many
Hi,
years, about 28.
everybody. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, I mean, Katie, AWAI has been around a long time and there's been a lot of
Almost
noise.
30
30
years.
years, right? I feel like we know what we're talking about, in 30
And we've
years.
seen this industry change in ways I never, ever could have imagined 30 years ago, but all for the good, all for the better. And it is the most exciting time to be a writer right now.
Yes, and change brings opportunity. And I feel like AWAI released something recently that kind of highlights that, right? So
Yeah.
we released something called a manifesto. Can you maybe share a bit more about what that is and why we released that?
Sure, sure. And if you haven't read it yet, Jade, maybe we can put a link somewhere
Yes,
around here.
yes.
Um, there's been so much noise about AI, about the future of writing, about the future of everything in our world. And we have a front row seat of to see what's working and what should just be ignored and not worried about. And so that's what we did is we sat down and we gathered as many truths as we could at this time about the future of copywriting, the future of AI and copywriting, and where the opportunities are. And I have to tell you, things really there've never been more opportunities for writers than there are right now. AI is actually helping. It's not hurting. And that's what we wanted to just kind of plant our flag on and let people know that as the authority for 30 years, we feel very confident that the future is very bright for writers. So we put together this manifesto, and I encourage you to read it. I encourage you to share it
Mhm.
and talk about it. Have it be an opportunity to start discussions around this topic.
Yeah, I love that. And, you know, um, like you said, it really does plant our flag as to what a copywriter is today and where the opportunities lie. But there's something a little bit fun at the end and something that has always been a part of AWAI, but we've really highlighted and brought to the front. And that is what we believe. So Katie, maybe talk about why that's in there, what it is, and we can go through
Sure.
them.
Well, just the whole idea, the whole concept of a manifesto, and it is stating what we know to be true. And there is no AWAI without our core beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
So this just felt like the perfect place to, again, restate those, share them with new audiences, and be very, very intentional and clear about what we believe this writing life can be and should be.
Yeah, and I think it brings, and while we want to talk about it in this setting, confidence, right? It helps bring confidence to writers. Um,
And clarity
yes.
and conviction. And again, this is what we believe, and we want people to that believe this too. I hope it is open arms to come on in and embrace these values yourself
Yeah.
as well.
Well, I think we teased it enough. If you haven't read it, let's go through a few of these today. So
Okay.
first off, writing is a skill and not a gift. So it's almost like writing is lumped in with like art, right? And the creative. So it's often believed that it is a gift. So why do we believe that it is a skill and not a gift?
Well, because we know it's a skill. And I have to tell you, when we first started 30 years ago, it was very controversial that we were saying that we could teach people how to be copywriters. The establishment, the old guard establishment, they did not take to it well. But as our members started making our point for us and proving us right, people did change. But there still are some people that think that you have to have some natural born, God given talent to be a writer. But the reality is, I mean, I would say you have to love writing. You have
Yes,
to
yes.
like it. You have to enjoy it. So that's not something we can teach. But the actual skill of persuasive writing is very teachable. And that's what we've built this 30-year wonderful organization on.
Yeah. And our giant catalog of case studies too.
Exactly, exactly. But it's a skill that has to be learned
Yes.
and it has to be practiced. You know, there's work involved.
Yes.
So, but I just want to dissuade anybody that they think, that if they're not Stephen King right now, or if they're
Yes.
not, some person that's widely known that has, remarkable success, that they can't do it.
Yeah.
Stephen King didn't start out as Stephen King, and not
Yes.
that we're even training Stephen Kings. We're training copywriters to help businesses and to be able to create really fulfilling and satisfying lives and careers through writing.
Dovetailing from that, our second one is that we believe great copywriters are made and not born. And you mentioned member success for number one, but that number two is really how AWAI was founded. One of our founders teaching the other founders who had no copywriting experience how to be great copywriters, and that's how we were born.
And that's the paying it forward. That is the heart and soul of what AWAI is all about. We are for writers, by writers, all about writers. Everybody in our world that teaches, that trains, that has a platform within our training system, they're all successful writers in their own right, and they are bringing forth their experience, their uh, the lessons that they are learning
Yes.
as of today. It's not rooted in um, you know
Theory.
glory days or
Yeah.
theories or anything
Yeah.
else. It's what's working today based on the fundamentals, based on the tenets that we know to be true.
Mm,
But this does all tie in with this whole that it is a skill that can be learned.
yeah.
And at this point, what I want to ask you is, to our listeners is, if that's something, a belief that you may be holding right now, that it has to be a gift or something that you're born with, if that were to disappear, how would that free you up? How
Mm,
would you be able to embrace this more, that yes, this is a skill I can learn?
mm,
Because if you can do that, we can help you learn that skill. That's what we do.
mhm.
And I want to just make sure that when we're talking about these, is that we're bringing them back to what do they mean to you? Do you believe it? If you don't believe it, how can we help you see that this is possible?
Yeah, yeah. And so our number three of that, which I think is a huge one, is that we believe your time is valuable, right? So you talked about that this is hard work. Obviously, it's going to have learning involved, right? But
Right.
Katie, just I think this goes across the board for a lot of aspects, for the learning aspect, for the working aspect. So what do you think of when you think of your time as valuable as a belief?
Well, there's those obvious ones, is like, right, nobody wants to waste time. Everybody's time is valuable no matter what you're doing. But I also think, when I think of this, it's the time in your life right now. And
Mm,
how many more years do you have? And do you want to be doing what you're doing now for the rest of your life, or the next 10 years, 20 years? And if not, what would you like to be doing? And how can we help you create that? How can we be the bridge to get you from maybe a place where you're not satisfied or secure, um, in your, either financial ability or job security, or any of those things, to a place where you do have a sense of control, and you have more flexibility, and just that whole sense of purpose and fulfillment.
mm,
That's what I really think about as time. There's the practical aspects too, is the way that we do our trainings, we figure out the way to get you to the end goal as quickly as possible. And by that, we have you learning the lessons, implementing them, practicing, and then how you start leveraging those to actually start making money.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, part of this whole time uh, equation is, if this is a career choice for you, which I hope it is,
Mm-hmm.
um, it becomes real when you start making money. So that's another piece of the whole time thing. And we want to help you have that, get to that point as quickly as possible, so that you do have the proof of concept that this is real, that you do have the confidence and you do have that momentum. So, again, I want to just kind of ask you, what would it look like if you gave yourself permission to not feel like you have to put in years and years, or you don't have to suffer for this, or what you have to do is do the work, and if you do it in a, a reasonable and consistent manner, you will get there.
I also want to explanation point or highlight something else you said, Katie, and that's that word control, right? So
Yes.
many people, when they come to us, they have like the 9 to 5 job, right? And they feel like somebody else is in control of their time. That's a narrative that is happening, which for some part, like may be true, right? But if
Right.
you just take back the control and the narrative that your time is valuable and that you control your time, with knowing that maybe that from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock and then maybe family afterwards or whatever is occupied and taken up, how can you make this work for you? How can you take back that control and make this work for you and carve out time and give the gift of time like back to yourself to be able
I
to
love
learn
that.
and grow and do and apply this in your life? Because I know a lot of times we can be in difficult situations where it seems impossible, but we have the proof that people can do this and they have done this. So you can do it too. If somebody else can do it, so can you. So I really wanted to highlight that word control because it really is one of the biggest benefits of AWAI. I believe the control that we allow people to have in
Right.
their lives again and their time.
And, what would it mean to start getting paid sooner rather than later?
Yeah.
So that's all about making the commitment to do it, and then realizing the time and effort that you're putting in now, what the payoff could look like, and at what time frame you'll be able to see that payoff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, speaking of paying, this is a
Yes.
very big one that a lot of people, when they first come in, struggle to believe, but we believe that you should be paid well for work that matters. I mean,
Phew,
Katie,
that's for sure.
for sure, and this is not a hobby, right? It's not a hobby. You are moving the chains of business if you are a copywriter. So can you maybe shed some light on how this really is business, right, at the end of the day?
It's business, and you are providing a valuable skill. You're helping business solve really their biggest problem, and
Mm-hmm.
that is growing their business, being profitable, attracting and keeping their customer base. So again, I hope that's something that everybody that's part of the AWAI world can embrace and take advantage of all the resources we have that help you with that. We
Mm-hmm.
have so much on this topic, but the reality is if you were to help a company improve, no matter what, even if it's just a small aspect, there's a value there. Just like you're happy to pay somebody that comes in and helps you with a service that you need, these clients are just as happy and willing to pay you for the service that you're providing. So again, it's all comes back to, this is a skill, it's a valuable skill, it's something that can be learned. It does take time and effort to get there, but the sooner you start, the sooner you get there. And you are creating this valuable asset, which is something that people value. And that's your ability to help businesses solve problems.
Yeah. I mean, that we're only halfway through what we believe, but I feel like, Katie, that is a lot to digest, especially
Yes.
if it's something that you haven't embodied yet. So I feel like we should pause on this here and now and come back to it next week. But so what would you say that somebody should do with like this information that we provided right now? I don't know if it's, start
Well, I'd like
answering the
you to just
questions.
think about it.
Yeah.
These are a little, this isn't like um, a checklist to do this, do this, do this.
Yes.
This is more to just kind of ponder on, think about. And ask yourself, how do you really feel about time? How do you
Yes.
really feel about money? What's your comfort level in thinking about those and maybe shifting your time set? What is your comfort level with understanding that this is something that can be taught and learned?
Yeah.
And if there are any of these that really resonate with you, like, move forward, man. Don't let anything stop you. And if there's
Mhm.
anything that you still might not be 100% there on, or still might need to work on, find somebody within our world that you can have these conversations with.
Mhm.
You're not the only one that is in um, this
Yes.
this atmosphere that we have, this environment that we've created.
Yeah.
And there really isn't anybody that gets your dreams and desires more than your fellow AWAI members.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and just think, what if all of these really are true? And
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
But what would it mean to you if you fully embraced all of this and just charged forward knowing it? That's what I'd like you to think about um, until we meet again.
Yeah, I think it can really be life-changing, and career-changing. So on this exciting note, more with Katie next week, and we'll see everybody there. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.